Alright, how we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Fellowship, and I fucking hate myself. My name is Fellowship, and welcome to Wolfian. We're going with it. We're keeping it. We're keeping it. This is my game of the decade, so much so I've changed my own goddamn name. Welcome to Fellowship. I'm gonna teach you how to fuck shit up. Alright, this is my Melee DPS Ultimate Beginner's Guide. So, this is going to cover absolutely everything you need to know. If you are just starting out in Fellowship, this is designed to give you all of the gatekept information, all of the elitist ultra tryhards you're going to play with in solo queue are going to try to keep from you so they can call you a trash can shitter. So, I'm going to take all their thunder away from them and teach you everything you need to know. That is why you subscribe. There's a bunch of guides on the channel for everything related to Fellowship. The reason I'm not in Paragon just yet is I'm going all the way up, piece by piece, inch by inch, covering the entire game from the bottom to the top, and playing with you guys in stream. The friend code is on stream and on screen right here. Feel free to go right here, go to friends, add friend, and pop that fella right in here. I'm playing with people from stream, and I go down this friends list and invite random people anytime I can. That is currently the rank 25 Sylvie. He might be higher now. But, yeah, it's been fun. So, with that being said, welcome to the Melee DPS Ultimate Beginner's Guide. This is going to teach you how to DPS in Fellowship, as well as how to DPS in MMO gameplay style games in the first place. Feel free to leave everything down in the comments below, because I'm never going to do enough DPS to make anybody happy. So feel free to call me a shitter and tell me every single way that I can improve the things I'm about to teach. So with that being said, where shall we begin? First things first, we're going to have to cover keybinds. I did a full keybinds video on the channel. If you're a DPS player and just starting Fellowship, I would highly suggest you pick up DPS. The DPS that I would recommend you to play if you're just starting out will be Tariq and or Rhyme. Now, Tariq has a couple of mechanics. In his case, this is the swing timer. Think of it like your swing timer in World of Warcraft. If you hit something, you want to wait for the swing timer to come all the way up, and you want to queue up your heavy strike in the little red window, and he'll do a little big bonk. Now, my guy has a bunch of different buttons that do both single target and AoE things. I will show you both the single target here, and then the AoE here, and then at the end we're going to go and queue a key with some of the boys from stream. Maybe we'll find a fourth whilst I'm in the middle of recording this video. If you want in and you're in stream, feel free to let me know, and I will add you and we will get going. So, with that being said, keybinds, like I was saying, is very, very important. If you're going to sit here and you're going to click the buttons like this, please save yourself the soul and save me my eyes, okay? This is not the vibe. Do not ever get yourself into this. Just start from ahead, okay? This isn't 2006. We're better than this. I believe in you, okay? Get your keybinds comfortable, get them suited to your hands, and then set up your binds in a way that you know where your buttons are. What I would suggest to do is associate X button with Y thing in your head. So in my case, if I have any movement or traversal ability, that goes on R, which I know on an instinct will immediately leap me or move me. My spacebar key is whatever my big dump ability is. So in this case, it's Hammerstorm, or Cyclone in this case. I know if I press C for cooldowns, I get my cooldowns, like so. Mouse wheel up is my go in button, which could be Leap Slam, or in this case, it's Chain Lightning. On Helena, it's Charge, right? And then, I've covered all the keybinds, but just get yourself set up with something that is very, very comfortable for you. Same thing with UI. My UI is in the Discord. I've been told by WoW players my UI is dog shit. You know, whatever, what can you fucking do? If you want it, it is in my Discord. Alternatively, I would suggest making a UI suited to you that will allow you to see everything you want to see. In this case, we don't have any of the pop-up cooldown trackers, so I made the entire UI into a cooldown tracker. So, as a result, you can see everything right here, and I don't have to move my eyes all that far away to be able to see everything. However, the most important cooldown is this one. Best cooldown in the game. I'm not kidding. That is Pummel. I got asked by someone absolutely brand new to Fellowship, what does Pummel do? And it was so beautiful to see a new soul being born. But that also allowed me to see the skill discrepancy between how I was playing and the guy who uses in his DPS rotation. So, what does this do? This allows you to interrupt an enemy spellcast and silence them for 4 seconds. The most important button in the game by far. If you go into your settings, you go down to Set Interrupt Target, right here. You can then press your Set Interrupt Target, and it'll put your face right over the guy. And then, if you press the follow-up keybind, which is trigger interrupt target, you can make them post on Twitter about it. And you can hit them without targeting them. So, fuck's sake, the things I say. Okay, so that is called focus kick in any other MMO. Reason being is kick is the name of the rogue interrupt. It has stuck as a global term that kick just means the interrupt key. So, use your kick, use your interrupts. Okay? Number one thing that I want to cover as a DPS. Use your interrupts because people are not doing it. And it makes keys so much harder than they have to be. Your goal as a DPS is to do two things. Stop shit from happening and kill shit. If you do step 2 perfectly, step 1 happens already. Pummel does step 1 for you. The rest of the rotation does step 2 for you. Bro's preaching and we're harmonizing. I am doing my best. We need more interrupters. We need more tanks, though. That's 2% tanks. So if you're struggling with DPS, try tanking. You can play basically a DPS character, but you're very, very, very unkillable. So if you find you're dying on DPS, try tanking. We need more of you. So, with all of that being said, the next thing to cover is cooldown management. Now, with all of these buttons right here, you're going to want to rotate them in the most optimal way. That is called a rotation. This is what everybody's going to try to tell you to do. It's press X buttons in certain sequence to then achieve highest DPS. Do over and over and over again, aka rotate X, Y, Z, E, R. If those are your key buttons, God help you. But rotate those buttons in that order and you will do highest DPS. So when you see notations for any guides in any other MMOs or any other games that say your rotation is this into this into this into this, that's what they mean. So I kind of don't play that way. I'm not gonna lie to you. Really bad timing. That was me, unfortunately. But that being said, I don't really use a rotation. I just kind of throw shit at the enemy and they die, and it works relatively well. So what I'm going to go through is cooldown management. Now, what you want to do is, in Fellowship especially, your team is going to do multiple pulls. They're going to do very, very big pulls if you start getting relatively good teams. And when you do that, you want to be able to use stuff at the right time. As a DPS, you have access to big cooldown buttons, like Thunder's Call in this case, a defensive button, which is Unbreakable Will, which is also called a wall or a shield wall, based off our Protection Warrior's shield wall, which is just same thing, term capped across the board. Other excess cooldowns, like Focus Wrath, every character has 2 big cooldowns. And then you have a movement ability, which like I covered before, you should have on something you're comfortable with, so you can get out of jail free or get out of jail real fast. Also, you just saw there that that's probably different than yours is. I just did that instantaneously, because it is not enabled immediately to go to targeting mode and turn on quick cast. Okay? Turn this on, and then any of your activated abilities that have a ground targeter, which is the circle that you're seeing when you do this normally, which is like this, like so, right? That requires you to click to do it. If you go quick cast, you leap anyway, instantaneously. Turn that on, have a good time, enjoy your Fellowship experience that much more. I played about 60 hours before I realized quick cast was even an option, and I fell in love with the game all over again. So, now, next thing I want to cover is targeting. Now, if we scroll all the way down to the same menu that has all the magical things in it, there's a couple of things down here. There is tab target, which this is your primary way of changing your target. But you can adjust this. This is the only MMO, it's not an MMO, this is the only game, this is a MODA. It's just a new genre, which they're trying to coin, which I'm 100% here for, that allows you to change the distance from your target, or from your character, that will allow you to tab target farther. It will also allow you to change the selection cone of tab targeting, which, yes, is as incredible as it sounds. I'm messing around with these settings. I wouldn't necessarily copy mine. This is just what works for me. However, make sure you have prioritize interruptible on. If you're not playing a tank, you don't have to turn this on, but I would suggest turning both of these on, just across the board. Prioritize interruptible will make it so that when you press your tab target, if something is casting, you will be able to kick it. Does that make sense, or am I am I still speaking Chinese to you? At this point, it should make sense to be able to tab through a target and then kick them, I would hope. If not, rewatch and see that glorious intro all over again. So, with that being said, we want to kick things as much as humanly possible to reduce damage to our team as much as we can. Kick important things, which you will learn through practice and repetition in dungeons. A quick guide for you. You want to kick the things that say Scholar's Rune, Shattering Barrier, Drain Life. What else? What else is useful? I'm trying to think. Anything that their cast bar turns yellow can be interrupted. This works on bosses. This works on average trash packs, anything along those lines. Now, the other thing about interrupts, there's also a thing called stops. Now, interrupts is one target. But what if you have a bunch of Timmies over here trying to throw a bunch of shit at your head? There's absolutely nothing that you can do about it until you fear it all. That is a stop. So, but all DPS have some semblance of stop in this case. Tariq has an AoE one with Intimidate. So this will make it so that 8 enemies around you run away very slightly for a 10-second window. What you can do with this is if he's casting, and oh shit, my kick's on cooldown, we can use our AoE stop. And then you can just keep DPSing over top of it, because they can still take damage in the fear, as they will need to take damage equal to 2000% of your strength to break out of the effect. Now, do be careful with this fear, because they do run away, which means that they can pull onto other enemies. If you don't understand aggro, take a look at the Tanking Ultimate Beginner's Guide, which will explain how to go through all of that. Okay. Next step, kill shit. I know, the fun one. How do we go about killing shit? Item level, talents, and optimization in the skill tree. So, you're going to play your character, you're going to find what button suits you, and you are going to not look at any of the ultra-large guides. Hell, I would suggest, if you're just starting out with Fellowship, make something for yourself. You can look at my guides. I'm not going to say don't look at my own guides. Obviously, I got to show my own fucking content. But I want to try and make this game as build crafty and as fucking experimentation friendly as humanly possible. I do not give a shit what these World of Warcraft ultra tryhards say. I'm going to post nothing but meme builds and we're going to have a fucking great time. I highly suggest you enjoy this game as much as possible. There is no kick from group feature. If you are bad, they cannot nuke you. Okay? If you're playing meme builds, they cannot nuke you. Your tank might leave, but he's the problem. Alright? Let's talk. So, you're going to play your character. You're going to find a button you enjoy pressing. There will be one that gives you dopamine somewhere in a character's kit. There's a lot of playstyles in this game. You can make it work. From there, in this case, I picked Hammerstorm. I am a Cyclone enjoyer. So to make this do as much damage as possible, I looked into my skill tree, and I found Spirit. Spirit provides a chance to refund any Fury spent when using abilities that cost Fury. Which means, if I hit a Spirit proc from stacking enough Spirit, I will be able to spin, and then spin, and then spin, and then spin. Yeah, I know, it's beautiful. So, in that case, I go through and I upgrade every single piece that has Spirit on it with as much eye level as humanly possible. Then I go into my talents, and I set up a skill tree that makes it so I can optimize my spin as much as humanly possible, based off how many talent points I have access to. I will have more eventually as I will climb the ladder. However, I'm playing in Contender with the boys, and it's a fucking good time. So, with all of that being said, you have a button you enjoy. You have a plan to put together a build based around said button. You're getting on now? Perfect. I need one more, and then we're doing a +6. We're going to pull the whole key in one go. Well, in 2 goes, depending who's tanking. And it's going to be a fucking vibe. What's up, my guy? How you doing? We are currently in the middle of a beginner's guide to DPS. You're in the video. Where you guys go. So, you have a button you enjoy. You have a build that works with said button. You have a stat line that works with said button. Now, it's time to kill things. I would suggest spending a little bit of time looking at your numbers on the buttons, and then trying to figure out a optimal rotation right? Hyphening back. This is how you teach. I know it's so much fun, isn't it? An optimal rotation of the abilities to use them in a specific order to get the highest damage. I do not follow rotations. I naturally just make something that does the highest damage. Just instinctually, I guess, because I like seeing big numbers. So, I don't follow them. I guess I make rotations. I suppose I'm the one doing the guide at the end of the day. So, with that being said, you want to use things that will increase your damage dealt first. In my case, my weapon ability will give me 30% crit chance if I use this first. If I hit 6 targets, I will get a 6% crit buff per target, stacking up to 5 times. So, in this case, this means I want to use this first. Then I want to pop my cooldowns, because I have it augmented so that my cooldowns give me rage. And then from there, I want to use my leap slam to give me a charge, which is from the skill tree. If we look into our talents right here, I get Fury from Thunder's Call, and I get a charge of Focused Wrath, which is my little mini cooldown from the talent tree here as well. So, I have mathed this out and what have you for a little bit here, from having fun killing stuff. But if you put it all together, we wind up looking a little bit spicy. We use our slam, we pop our Focus Wrath, and then we just spin to win. People may tell you Chain Lightning's better, Heavy Strike's better, X is better, Y is better. Congratulations, they did the same thing. They picked one button that they liked, that they thought was the shit, and they pushed it to the moon. That's how you do buildcraft, fellas. It is not that difficult. Take one thing you like and go, I'm betting on this one. That's all everyone ever does. Or they sit here in a training window and just beat the shit out of things until the numbers get higher. So, let's AoE, shall we? We use our crit chance first, then we use our ulti over top of that, because this does the next highest damage in my case. This will give me an enhanced Thunder's Call, which will generate Fury for me. I then pop my Leap Smash and my secondary cooldown, and then I spin. Now you'll see I was talking about Thunder Call. I just said this gives me an enhanced Thunder Call. Yes, you can do exactly what you're thinking. Where you do this, you do all of the damage, and then you do Thunder Call, you do it again. That's how you rotate. See? I'm conditioning you. Press or interrupts. Let's kill things, shall we? 1, 2, 3. Spin. 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 Chain Lightning. Spin. And in this case, we can ult again. I mean, you wind up getting increased spirit from hitting training dummies, but you can see what I mean. You do as much damage as humanly possible. That was 39k, and I didn't even really do everything correctly. I stopped in the middle after showcasing what I wanted to do. I accidentally fat-fingered my wall there because I just, I don't know, didn't hit it all in the right order. But, yeah, 39k on training dummies, and we are going to take all of that knowledge and go into a key. I'm pretty sure I covered everything. Did I miss anything, fellas? I covered interrupts, I covered how to deal with as much damage as possible, I covered focus interrupts, I covered cooldowns, cooldown management. Your shield wall should be used at times where you can mitigate as much damage as possible. If there's going to be a certain mechanic that you know coming up, then you're going to want to press your Unbreakable Will ahead of time. So, I'm going to go down the list. I'm going to invite everybody. We shall see who takes the invite. We shall assemble a team. And we shall go into a key. And I shall live commentate, hyper commentate. We have 3 tanks. The key as we go. So fellas, if you wouldn't mind assembling yourselves into a viable team, we are going to go into a Stormwatch +6. Which +6 is right before the Sithral's Fall, which Sithral's Fall is the capstone dungeon, which is relatively difficult, and is a 35-minute dungeon. So I'm not going to put you through the horrors of a 35-minute dungeon. I have multiple videos covering this on the channel. However, what I would also suggest you do, I will talk to you about this now, is you do what I showcased in the how to do the highest damage in Fellowship very early video. You do yourself a Sithral's Fall when you get the first chance to do so, If you can manage to convince the team to stick around and fully finish and progress the key without leaving, which is a task, I will absolutely give you that. If you can do that, or if you can manage to time one and finish one on your own, take this eye level 75 blue, take it over here. I suck. Take it over here. Come over here. Open this guy. And buy yourself some blacksmith supply boxes and some unstable artisan supply boxes. They will give you crafting mats that you can take over here to our reroller. Our little boy Braggy, because you can brag about the weapon in one roll. You go over here, pop this fella in here, and hit an unstable reforge. And roll one of your blues until you get a weapon. If you're going to be stuck in contender keys for a very long time, or you are playing at the start of a season where you are in contender for the longest amount of time, this is what I'm going to be doing at the start of next season, I will go and get that weapon from Sith Rolls, and I will roll it with all of my resources until I get this. Reason being, you saw me use that Giga Bonk earlier, right? The Sahirul's Wrath. Try saying that 3 times fast. This thing absolutely fucks, because weapon abilities are giga overtuned to the point it's just stupid hilarious, and you're going to see why in just a minute. Because this thing, it's not even max eye level. I need one more eye level upgrade. It's 7 out of 8, which is why we're farming right now on stream. We're speed farming 6s. Because I can do so much damage, I account for like 3 people because of this fucking weapon. It is so dumb. Get yourself one as soon as possible. Yes, it's going to be difficult to convince someone to fully sit through a bricked key. However, if you clear a bricked key, you still get the gear. This is what people are not knowing and what are not factoring for. You still get the blues if you can pull it off. So prog it, practice it, get there. I believe in you. You can do it. Alright, boys. We've assembled ourselves into a team. Let's send ourselves into a +6. And let's fuck. Alright. Time to do everything I just talked about. Welcome to Stormwatch Contender 6. This is where I have hit 70k DPS on Tariq in my current gear. And we shall see if I'm able to do it right now, live on recording for you, whilst I commentate the entire rotation. So first things first, we're going to mount up. We're going to let our tank pull everything. Pull everything. You're not going to be able to do this in solo queue, but I'm just going to show you to showcase. We are at the start of a dungeon, so we want to use our cooldowns as fast as possible, because we will be able to get them back eventually. So, he took everything very, very literally in this case. So we're going to wait until this groups up. He's going to line of sight them all, hopefully. Give it a second. And now we pop everything. Use our slam first. And then we spin. And now, we can do an AoE fear in a second to use a big stop. I got retargeted from the enrage, so I'm going to use the AoE stop there to let my tank regain aggro. Give it a second, pop my shield wall, in case they decide to come back on me. Then we go back to spinning. They retargeted off the enrage. My guy took everything to fucking heart. I respect it. We probably can't pull that big. I respect it. But maybe half of that, and then the other half. Unfortunately, I did say everything. I will give you that. I did say everything. But this is a +6. If we were on a +3, we would have lived. I would have killed it all. But unfortunately, my other bully has 33 eye level and no Sithra weapon. If he had a Sithra weapon, we would be perfectly fine. So, same thing. We're going to pop our cooldowns here. We're going to spin. Which is our primary damage ability that I've been stacking for. And I'm going to build as much rage as possible, which is my character's resource. Execute that guy. And we're going to use my leap, generate my rage, and then we spin again. And we make sure we spin in the middle of the pack. Try and tab over to the low health guy and use my execute. Because my character has Culling Strike here, which does bonus damage to targets below 30% HP. If you're able to farm one of the dungeons for this item, Ruin Herald Bracers, Death's Grasp. You get increased damage to low health enemies. You need to stand behind a tree, my guy. I believe in you. You can do this. We're gonna bonk the pack, and then we're gonna spin. And we're gonna do a sick little 30K here. You'll love to see it. We're gonna dispel our tank because we're actually a Chad in human form. We're gonna go for a nice little AoE. And there is our first successful big AoE pull. With a nice little 30K window there. You do love to see it. That's the Tariq experience. It gets bigger, provided we do this right. So we need to be very careful here. Now I know from experience I'm going to press my stop here because they enrage. Which is a mechanic that these mobs will do at a certain threshold. Tariq's stun, or Tariq's stop, will actually make it so they run in a specific direction. So in our case, we're going to make sure that they all go to the right. A few steps. Like so. And then we spin again. And we keep spinning. And we pray for RNG spirit procs. Because the more spirit procs we get, the more we spin. That does come down to experience and game knowledge. I am currently on hour 150, I think. 60 hours in both betas, and now I'm on 70 hours, so 130. Here we're gonna have a single target rotation, but I'm going to hold my cooldowns. Except for Thunder Call, because the best place to pump in the entire key, use your interrupts, is coming up in just a second. So we're going to get our man down to 80%, and he is going to disappear on us. He's going to go for milk, and then we will meet him at the end of the key. We'll bonk him. And now, pull everything. Loop around, grab everything. It is time to pop the fuck off. We're going to rotate our big slam first, with our bigger slam afterwards. We grab everything. Have our tank pick it up. And we go. Nice little 70K there. And that is the DPS experience. Dopamine. And we execute him. And there you go. That's how you pull top DPS in your keys. Tariq is the least played DPS in the game. I have yet to see why. We keep spinning, pop our cooldowns. You have to keep track of how low your CDs are, so you can make your enemies CDs nuts. Rat time! If you are attacked by something, make sure to immediately run it over your tank, as tanks generate 300% threat baseline. The rats will do a little retarget here, so our rhyme almost died. However, if you pull anything off of you, most tanks have a big AoE. Mako has a permanent AoE field that you should be keeping up from her AoE vortex. So if you run over top of her, then you should be able to instantaneously get the aggro off of you. Now we're in a single target scenario, and we're gonna bonk our boy. That's our single target scenario. Now we're gonna go back to AoE. I missed a heavy strike window because I suck. I didn't kick Dread Arc. Use your interrupts. I suck. Unfortunately, I don't take my own advice. I was too focused on DPS. That is the trouble. You get into DPS brain. You want to kick Dread Arc, which is the mechanic on our man here. Leave the charge bolts. You can kick those too. There goes the Dread Arc. You'll love to see it. And now we do our single target rotation. I have ulti and 74%. However, I'm going to bonk. And then pray for resets. None. Unfortunate. Absolute travesty. Reset? No, unlucky. I'm a believer, man. In case you can't tell. We do our little single target rotation, where we use our single target ability rather than our AoE ability. In this case, it's Skull Crusher. He's going to summon Raiders. We're going to kick Dreadarch again. We're now in Execute phase. He's under 30%. Execute phase just means the boss is low health, which means our executes, i.e. Culling Strike, activates. This is the same for any other MMO that uses a cooldown system. So in this case, my teammate's going to kick Dreadarch. I'm going to pop my ulti, and we're going to bonk our man to death here. And we're going to execute him and die to the chest. User interrupts.